Hello there. Today we're going to be playing with our Advent Calendar stamp set. We got a beautiful stamp set on Christmas Day from our 2021 Advent Calendar, and I just want to get the most out of it and start playing with it. So we've already done a couple of samples using it, so this is just another idea. So what did you get in your Christmas Day Advent Calendar gift? Well, here we go. Now that beautiful floral border. You're going to see lots of that one, I think. You also got a lovely swoosh polyplate, which is, that up for you, there we go, what we're going to be playing with today. I want to do a really quick and simple card using that polyplate today. And then you also got a beautiful saying which fits perfectly in that polyplate. So you know by now, if you want to craft along, this is what you're going to need. Right, so I have got in front of me a 5x7 card and a scrap piece which just fits my polyplate on. So it's a scrap I'm going to work on first. You can see it fits my beautiful polyplate really well. So I've got oxides as well. I'm going to start off with some weathered wood. I'm just going to go all over my polyplate with it. Just like that. And then I'm going to give him a quick spritz. There we go. And we're just going to splat him down on here. I love watching all the ink move around. I'm just going to lift that up. There we go. Just being very careful that I don't flick the ink off to one side. And then I'm going to wipe this over. Make sure I clean my polyplate up. And then we're going to give our stamped image a bit of a dry. So you might have noticed when I dried mine, I got a little mark underneath because I blotted it and didn't think. So never mind, we're going to cut it out anyway. So next up, I'm going to take my Salty Ocean and we're just going to add some swoosh marks with this one. So lots and lots of little dashes. Ooh. Gentle dashes, not big blobs like I'm doing. There we go. That's what I'll do. Then I'm just going to clear it up in case I've got any ink anywhere that shouldn't be. Like that. Oh, and I've got a big blob there. Like a piece of tissue. Take that off there, and then I'm just going to line it up again and stamp. And then very gently release it. So you get those lovely blues and greys all mixing together. See those lovely lines. So I'm just going to clean my plate off because we're done with that now. And then, can I find my sentiment? There he is. I think I'm going to turn it around, it's going to go that way. I'm going to pop, make our moment count, make this moment count right there. But before I do anything else, I've still got wet patches and my new ink's very wet. So I'm going to completely dry this because I want to pop my VersaFine over at top. So I'm going to blast this with a heat gun and then we'll get on stamping our sentiment. So this is nice and dry now. I'm going to take my sentiment and I'm going to stamp this. Oops, I'm knocking everything off my desk. Just make sure I ink it up well this time. To make this moment count. Really give them a nice ink up, and then we're going to splat it right in the middle of our polyplate. Just like that. I'm just being extra careful because we are stamping over the top of oxide. Even though I've dried it, it can still sometimes not want to play. There we go, lift it up. There we go, that's worked, hasn't it? So that looks okay, but I want to do a little bit more to it. So first up, I'm going to grab my charcoal pencil. I'm just going to add a little bit across the base and into some of these nooks and crannies. just like that. I'm not even being very fussy about where I pop it, just across the base. So we've got a little bit of shading going on, just like that. I'm going to take my white doodle pen, and at the moment, can you see my moment is just almost disappearing into the background. He's not popping enough, so I'm just going to take my white gel pen. I've got quite a fat one here, we'll see if it works, and let me grab a piece of kitchen roll, because otherwise, if I put my hands on it, it's going to go everywhere, isn't it? So I'm just going to add a little bit on the inside of here. And what this does is it should just help the word pop out. Being really gentle. Just like that. And I'm not going to move my tissue back, because if I've got any wet ink still on there, or oxide, it'll just end up smudging it. So every time I need to move my tissue back, I'm just going to fold a little bit back and go again. Slowly around each of these. Put it in there. I've done it on one of them, as I need to do it on the other, don't I? There we go. I'm going to fold my tissue back, and I'm going to do my like that. And then I've got a no. And hopefully, as I'm doing this, it should make the word start to jump a little bit more out the page, off the page even. And then just after. Actually, go underneath the bottom of the tit as well. Oops. A little better if I'd done it in a straight line, but that's okay. Turn it around. Straight one. And then I think I'm going to do it on my make this moment as well. So I'm going to turn my tissue around. And I'm also going to find a finer white liner. Right, I've got my finer pen, and we're just going to go in on these. So be really careful here. Just take our time. So we've got to make this, and I just need to do the count. And hopefully you'll see that has really made it pop out a lot more. Right, we're nearly there. So next up, I'm going to take my black doodle pen, and if I've whited out anywhere wrong, this is where I could go. You see, like on the turf, I'll pull it in really close. Can you see here on the turf? I've gone really wonky with my white line. So you know what? I've got my doodle pen in my hand. I'm just going to go back over it, and now you won't know that I went a bit wonky, would you? There we go. Right. So doodle pen. All I'm going to do is very gently. I'm hardly touching the paper at all. Just follow the line, the edge of our polyplate. Really gently. So it's less than tickling. You know when I say you use it when you're using your doodle pen, tickle. I'm less than tickle. It's like hardly any pressure at all on the pen. Keep going really gently. Doesn't have to be perfect, it's got to be somewhere near that edge. And it's great as well if you haven't quite lined up properly. You know, it helps the eye find the edge of the polyplate without it noticing that you've not lined it up properly. There we go. Oops. getting scratchy then. I'm starting to press on a little bit. Nearly there. And you don't want it to go anywhere near your words. Oops. I'm going around the shading rather than the edge of the polyplate. Never mind. So if you can hear that scratchy noise, that's normally because you're just pressing on a little bit too much. There we go. And I've not gone anywhere near our words. But I think just adding that border really helped. So I'm going to blast that quickly with my Come on, pen lid, don't want to go on. And then we're going to get it cut out. So I've cut that out now, and you can see I've left quite a nice white border around it. And if I hold it up close, you'll notice I've not even done fussy cutting, I've just gone for it. But I think it works. So if I pop that on there, it looks a bit stark, doesn't it? So we're going to do a little bit of splattering in the background on our base card. So I've got my weathered wood. Pop a little bit on my table. And then we're going to take our paintbrush. Give it a little bit of a splatter. And then we're going to dry that. And then we'll do our next colour. Right, so that one's done. We're then going to go back in with our salty ocean. We can do exactly the same thing, splatter a little bit on our desk. Spritz it, and then splatter it. There we go. Clean that up and we'll get that bit dry. Right, so that's dry, and it really is as simple as I've got a nice blue mat here on my base card. So pop that on there, that goes on there, and then I'm just going to add a few little foam pads to pop our sentiment on it. So a really quick and simple one there. That was really quick and easy, wasn't it? So don't you just love how easy polyplates make it? So here is our finished card. A little bit of splattering and a polyplate. Really simple. There we go. It's cool, doesn't it? So what did we use? We used our swoosh polyplate from our Christmas Day stamp set and our Make This Moment Count. And I'm going to show you that final piece again. There we go. So I hope you enjoyed that, and I hope you will join me again here soon.